Hello and welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 C++ tutorial video here on the Lötwig Fusel channel. In the last video we have implemented this custom spawner that was quite nice until we started playing around with blueprints and it totally blowed over and it was not as flexible as I thought it would be, but I think you get the point and you know how to do it better now, but I was too lazy to rework it. And basically what the thing now did, it basically spawned our custom XP collectors as soon as we are triggering it to start. I think it was here. Or was it here to start? Yeah, I think it was here, the start box. Just moved kind of like in a trigger, yeah. And now it starts spawning and can collect them. And everything is good. And there are two things that I need to get done until we are like done with this minimal C++ example and we can get into more involved things and maybe create a first game based on your suggestions. And yeah, so what are we gonna do today? We're gonna today rework our pawn, because I think the pawn was quite nice and quite easy to understand how a pawn works. And this video is gonna be a explanation video on how to also implement a custom actor, because there's an actor base class in the Unreal Engine which gives us functionality associated with an actor. I've never used this actually, I have to admit, at least not from the C++ side. Most of the time when I use the actors or characters in Unreal Engine, I basically just modified the default ones or took templates, but we're now going to implement one from scratch. So let's start by creating a new C++ class. Here inside this window we are now going to select the character, and I'm not going to call this my character, I'm going to call this XP character. And let's zoom in, and directly after it we're going to compile this, so as soon as this is done and live coded, we're gonna directly instantiate this character because I want to see what it is. I want to basically see how the character looks like. So we should now get the XP character, and I basically want to quickly see what this character is. Alright, so this character does come with an error component and a capsule. So if we would want to overwrite, we would need to basically raise this one up again. So maybe let me raise the player start. Let me maybe, come on, select this one, this actor that I just, this character that I've created, and let's change this up here. I think we have implemented this properly so that we can actually set this. So we're just gonna set the pawn class to the XP character, and let's see what we get if we start this. Alright, so what we get is nothing than a character that is basically viewing the scene, but we have no input available. Okay, so this is all working as expected, because this is what I also thought that we might get. So let me now actually clear this. Can I clear this? Oh, I need to reset this. Can I set this to none? I think if this is none, maybe it's gonna select the default one. Is that right? No, if I set this to none, it doesn't work. Okay, so there's a little bug in our game mode. Let me quickly go to the game mode base and let me quickly check. Default pawn class equals to a default pawn, or it's not okay. In case it's not okay, I also just want to use my custom XP pawn class that has been set in the thing. So this is good. Alright, so now let me quickly go in here and quickly create a blueprint out of this. So XP character, and let's create a blueprint class based on the XP character. And now, oh, I hate this. So my XP character, let's create this blueprint class here. Let's maybe move this one up here. Let's save this, go back in here, zoom in, and this should be good. Alright, I basically want to see what we get. So basically what we're gonna get, we get a character mesh, a error component, and this capsule, as well as this character movement component. This character movement component is actually the one that is doing some amazing work. You're gonna see what this is doing in a moment, because this basically allows us to move the character around using C++ and also interact with the physics system at the same time. Alright, but as you can see, we don't have any mesh associated with it, and we don't have actually a camera. So I could now say and do this all here in C++, but we just gonna or in Blueprint, sorry, but we're just gonna go and do this in full C++. So let's go back in here and let's do a quick setup. Okay. So what functions do we have? We have the setup player input component, we have take, begin, play, and the constructor. So this basically works as always. The only issues or the only different thing is that the setup player input component is now called setup player input component. If we compare this to our pawn, we had the function was called, it was also called set player input component already. So this is okay. So what we basically want to do is our functions that we used for rotation, location, moving forward, backward, left, right, and this stuff. We all did this inside of here, and we basically want to copy everything that is here into the player class. So actually I don't need my AXP pawn. So my XP pawn is no longer be required. So let me actually delete this. We're just gonna get completely rid of this. Where do I have this? Oh, I'm in search mode. That solves the issue. Okay, my XP pawn, we don't need that one. Oh, there are, yeah, this is also one that is not correct here. As you can see, if I'm gonna delete that one, just gonna hit this again, it's gonna give us that here. And you can see that it's basically referenced at several locations. The statue is referencing it, the game mode is referencing it. We're just gonna basically, okay, we're just gonna, yeah, we're just gonna use force delete here and delete everything. Delete all references. We should be good. We can fix them later. Alright, then let me quickly steal all the code from the XP pawn, because we're basically just gonna have an XP pawn. These two private things we just can plainly, dumbly, without thinking of it, move them over. And let's go back into the H file, begin play. These were all the same, but we had some includes here. Let me maybe copy these two. These are required, the rest should be included by the other files and we should be good. Let's quickly create the implementations of this function. And let's then go in and move over the code. So let's copy the hierarchy here. The only thing that we're now going to do is we're just going to change the player mesh and the player camera. They are all gonna be setup attachment. So none of them is now gonna be the root one, because they shall be all bounded to this capsule. Where was that? Maybe let me quickly try to find this. Let's go back into that one. Let's go to the definition here and let's maybe scroll a bit down. We have a U property, U skeletal mesh, movement component, capsule component. This is a capsule component that I'm looking for. So it's called capsule component. And what we basically want to do is we want to set up the attachment to the capsule component. Is this not accessible? Huh. Yeah, they are private. Alright, there's a function called getCapsuleComponent. If we scroll down a bit, you can see get character movement, get mesh, and get capsule component. So instead of doing this, getting this basically by this, or maybe this is gonna work in a sec. It's just gonna keep this as this is now currently, because I think it should work actually. Let's see. Or maybe let's quickly consider. Yeah, I just quickly took a look at my my references that I had from the Unreal Engine, and this setup attachment at the get capsule component should be or could. This is actually how it shall be done. I think it's gonna be fixed as we compile. All right, what do we else need from the from that one here? Well, the setup input component, of course, we need that. Let me copy them over. Setup input oh, I pasted this in the wrong function. It needs to go in here in the no, not to begin play. I am totally an idiot. Here in the constructor. So there we need to go. Begin play. Tick is not needed yet. Here, setup input component. So register access basically, and now it's an AXP character instead of an AXP pawn, and we are basically binding them. Now let's maybe just copy them. No, we just gotta do this completely different. We are now implementing them completely from scratch, so we're gonna go back to the character. And how does this work? Forward, backward. So instead of now setting the actual location, we actually call a function called add movement input. This add movement input function basically interacts with with this movement component of our character base class, and basically this movement component is gonna tell the physics system that we are moving, and it's gonna be handled all properly. Where do we want to move? Well, again, get actor forward vector, because we want to move forward, and there's also a scale that we can input here, which is our value. So basically the scaling and everything is basically implemented here. You can basically see this works by getting the movement component, and then on the movement component the add input vector is called, and this is what is basically gonna apply. And U pawn movement component, I think we could have been able to implement this as well, but basically if we go in here, it's doing a hell of a lot of stuff. Internal add movement, vert axle, and if we would dig deeper, and there's this control import vector, and then this is all like handled internally by the engine. We don't care. Basically what's this gonna do? It's gonna be offsetting our actor. But actually, yeah, let's keep this like that. We also want to do this for left right, so get actor. We would basically, because we got to get the left vector, but we only have the right vector. We could actually change this, but left right left. It's no idea. Just a minus sign and everything is good. So let's add this one here as well. And now let's go to rotate. Now I need to get again what rotating is. I think it is yaw, because there's also a function, not add movement input. There is also a add controller pitch, roll, and yaw function. In this case, I think we are at yaw, but don't nail me on this value. And what do we want to do here? And we basically just want to put in the value. And as far as I'm concerned, we also had scaling values. Yeah, we had this movement speed and rotation speed, so let's also put them in and multiply them in here as well. So here we need the movement speed, and here the rotation speed. Alright, so these few lines of code should now, actually they're more simpler than the pawn, but they are kind of like more complicated because we are attached to the character class. But these few lines now should make use of the character instead of the pawn and make our code a bit more functional. So let's see if we do a nice little hot reload and everything succeeds. And it failed. Alright, it seems like our capsule component is not working as it should. I'm gonna quickly search for the U capsule component. No, U capsule component, and then gonna look for the header. It can be that the capsule component was only forward declarated, but the implementation was never included, and then this could be the issue that we don't get it. So if I include this, is this gonna fix it? Yes, this is gonna fix it. Alright, so this was an include issue. So let's try again. And there we go, this now worked. And if I would now take a look at this, we should have our XP character. And now let's actually open up the my XP character. And if I would open the blueprint editor, you can see this looks good, but this might also look screwed. But what I basically want to do now, just to show you what you might want to do if something looks a bit screwed, you can actually go to the My XP character, right click this, go to Asset Actions and click on Reload. And sometimes this reload is gonna fix issues if you have hierarchy issues after reloading from C++. Alright, so now let's try out and get this all a bit sorted out. I'm gonna just move the camera a bit. It's a bit sad that I can't really see where the camera is looking, but it's okay. So just gonna move the camera in a bit, then I'm gonna click the player mesh, and I'm just gonna select a static mesh for that. So why do we had this? I think it was a capsule. Yeah, capsule shape white. And let's take this brick texture again. I think it was a different one that we had first, but it's okay. Scroll a bit down here, go down, though that is like at the bottom, so that we are basically the character, and maybe now the camera is a bit too high. Let's move it a bit down, save it. And this kind of like looks like what I am looking for. So again, similar to what we had, but now like this. Let's hit compile, let's go in here, and let's now also alter the game mode, because the game mode was basically for an AXP pawn, but now I want to have the AXP character actually. Come on, there we go. And now it's not the AXP pawn, it's the AXP character. And we're just gonna take the AXP character static class here. And then this should be good as well. Let's go back in here, let's do a quick recompile there. This might crash a thing, or I don't know if how the Unreal Engine behaves, or I think it doesn't behave badly because we already deleted the other class. Alright, then I basically want to go in here, game mode, and I want to edit my game mode, and in my game mode, the custom, let's open the full editor here. The custom XP pawn class, it's still called custom XP pawn class. It should be more called default pawn class, custom XP pawn class. It should not actually be called custom XP character class. Custom XP character class. I could also done this with refactoring from Visual Assist, but I forgot about this. And let's now go in here, let's do a hot reload and see how this now behaves, because this now might, I don't know how fast I can reload that, or if it might reload the game mode. If I go to the game mode, class defaults, no, it has automatically selected this. And now I would just want to select the MyXP character so that we get the blueprinted one in here as well. And now let's see what's going on. Oh, have unresolved. Oh, the my statues the my statue has unresolved errors. Okay. So, because this is a bad cast node, this was casting to the MyXP pawn, but we just basically want to cast to the cast to XP character now. So instead of casting to the XP pawn, casting to the XP character, just want to do the same one down here as well. Just cast to the right class. I think this were the only two. Alright, and now this shouldn't fail compiling as well. And if I now go in and play, you can actually see that now everything still works the same, but you're gonna see that now if I go over the edge, we are falling down. And this is now because we are actually using the physics system. You might see that movement is very, very fast. Like rotation is kicking fast. Moving is fast. This is all a bit too fast. So let's go to the MyXP character. Let's click the character itself. And let's maybe go a bit down in here. And where are the things? Yeah, like rotation speed. Let's maybe go to 0.2. And movement speed also 0.2 because it's way too fast. Let's recompile and yeah, now it's too slow. This is always what you're doing. It's always too fast and you reduce it to slow. Let's maybe do this to 0.6 and 0.4. I think this is quite a decent, yeah, that is decent. That is a decent speeds. Yeah, you could tinker a bit around, but this is like also something that you might want to actually expose as a setting in your game, so that you can basically go in and change this on the user's favor. Let me quickly tell you what's not working. I think spawning shouldn't work, or I think yes, spawning shouldn't work because we didn't cast in the blueprint for spawning. We didn't check what characters overlapping, but what not should work is collecting these items. This doesn't work because this is basically in the XP collect actor, and the default trigger class is now no longer set. So in this case, we want to have the MyXP character or even the XP character. But I'm just going to select the MyXP character here. And if I fix that as well, we should now be able to go to that corner, and actors that are now going to fall again should be collectible. Come on, collect. Yeah. So there you go. This now works again. We can knock them over, and you can also see like that we can like walk here and fall, and it's just a bit more clean. I mean, like the character, this is why there is a character class, because there is like functionality in here that you might want to have for a character, and it's just a good starting point. But it's also a bit more complicated because there are more things attached, even though like now doing this seems that it would be like the way to go to also do this from the beginning on a new tutorial series that I would do, and maybe do the pawn later. But yeah, it's also good to know how to do this on your own and how to implement this on your own. Alright, so this solves our pawn issue or our character issue, and yeah. One thing that I might want to do is I just want to quickly do something blueprint only that we haven't done yet. I just want to make our actor die in case we basically fall out of the world. We have not done this. We're just gonna do some blueprints for a bonus today. So let's call this death cell, because we're just gonna die here. So go into the death cell. Let's add let's keep this default scene root. Let's add a box collision. Let's call this death box, and let's maybe make this how 0.1. I just want to have this 0.01, just like a very thin box. Or why that small? Let's make this 0.1. People want to see it. Alright, so let's just make this death box, and basically what we're just gonna do is go to the event graph. I don't care about any of these. I only care about the on component begin overlap, and I just want to cast this to my XP character. And in case we cast it to the my XP character, we can end play. Can we do this? Exit? Huh. Oh yeah, there it is. It's called quit game. I think quit game is the right one. Let's test this out. Can I plug this play in? Okay, no. I just gonna use quit game. I hope this is not multiplayer, but let's test this out. Go in here. Let's take the death cell. This looks interesting. What is this? Ah, this is the default scene component. Okay, yeah. Let's maybe go in here. Come on. There it is. Let's maybe go to the details panel, because 0 and 0. Oh, this is my center. Oh, okay. Let's select that one now and scale you up. Maybe now. Come on. I cannot. It's already selected. I'm an idiot. Maybe move this a bit here and down, and let's test this out. What happens? Okay, yeah, we just quit it. So the editor just exited when we are falling down. Okay, this is just some bonus that we are doing for today to just stop the game. Okay, nice. So we can go in here, move that one. We can now see that physics are now also working a bit better, because it's basically now how it's intended to be. I mean, this is one you can basically see that we are getting pushed by the statue, and this is like a bit cocked, but at least it's trying to do something, because it's just basically pushing us. But yeah, it's okay. Alright, so this concludes oh, actually, one thing that's left to do, we need to get rid of our now no longer used C++ class. How are you gonna do this? I do not recommend doing this here through Visual Studio, but we can actually try. What happens if I select them and press delete? No, they're just gonna be removed, so I'm just gonna select cancel here, because I don't want to remove them. The way to go to delete classes is, I think, can we actually do this via Unreal? I think not. If I would select the XP pawn. No, you can see that you cannot do this, but you can say show an Explorer. Is it open the Windows Explorer? No. Oh yes, it is. So if you say show an Explorer, it's going to open up the Windows Explorer. I'm just going to select these two files and just going to delete them. And then I can hot reload this here, and source file is removed, and we shouldn't have any issues. That should just compile fine. The engine shouldn't crash, and we just basically deleted our class without any issues. We should be able to... What? Where did I move that one? But yeah, okay. Let's quickly see that everything else is still working and I am too bad to play my own game. That's okay, amazing. Okay, start spawning please. Working. And yeah, so you can see that this is as easy as that. Just delete the files and hit a quick little recompile and you're good. I think Visual Studio should also be aware that, I mean, they are still in here. Are they still in the solution? Yes, they are still in the solution. If you also want to remove them from the solution, you can go to Tools and you can select Refresh Visual Studio Project. It's updating the Visual Studio project now, regenerating code files, and if I would now reload all, the XP pawn is also gone in here. So as easy as that. And now we have a proper character in here and we can continue on creating our game and create a nice little hut. Okay, so thank you for watching, see you in the next video, make sure to like and subscribe and have a nice day, bye!